Ridiculous. Every piece of evidence he had gathered painted a clear picture of Lucy's betrayal. The affair wasn't just personal, it had ethical and professional repercussions, and Larry ensured these were brought to light. Outside the courtroom, Larry continued to unravel Lucy's facade. He shared enough of the truth with mutual friends and family to make his case indisputable. The fallout was inevitable. Friends who had once supported Lucy now turned away, and her family struggled to reconcile their love for her with her actions. "I never thought you were capable of this," her mother told her during a particularly painful conversation. "You've let us all down." Larry's most decisive move came in the professional arena. Using the same evidence he had sent to Joshua's company, Larry composed a detailed, anonymous report for Lucy's employer. The facts spoke for themselves. The consequences were swift and irreversible. Summoned to HR, Lucy was presented with irrefutable evidence of her misconduct. Her attempts to deny the claims were futile. Within days, she was terminated for violating the company's code of conduct. Her career lay in ruins. As she left the office for the last time, her world crumbling around her, Lucy fully understood the depth of Larry's retribution. Larry, meanwhile, felt no triumph in his actions, only a sense of closure. He had taken back control of his life and ensured that Lucy faced the consequences of her betrayal. Though his heart still bore the scars of her actions, Larry was ready to move forward, leaving the pain of the past behind him. He hadn't just unraveled her marriage. He had guaranteed that her name would forever be tarnished. The disgrace was insufferable, yet Larry wasn't done. Lucy's infidelity had shattered their relationship, but in doing so, she had unwittingly triggered the unraveling of everything she held dear. Larry was resolute in ensuring she faced the full weight of her choices. If she thought the emotional toll was sufficient retribution, she was gravely mistaken. On the day their divorce was finalized, Larry carried out his ultimate move. He had already claimed sole ownership of their house and all their shared assets, but this last gesture was designed to settle the score. As Lucy sat in her lawyer's office, awaiting the final signatures, Larry arrived unannounced, a small parcel in his hands. He placed it deliberately on the desk before her. Lucy's eyes narrowed in confusion as she glanced at the package. "What is this?" she asked, her voice laced with a mixture of apprehension and disbelief. Larry didn't answer immediately. He fixed her with a steady gaze before finally speaking. "Open it," he instructed, his tone calm but heavy with intent. Lucy hesitated, her fingers trembling as she untied the cord securing the package. Inside, she found a thick folder filled with incriminating evidence Larry had painstakingly gathered over time. Photographs, text messages, and even videos provided undeniable proof of her affair with Joshua. But there was more. Nestled within the folder was an envelope bearing her name in bold, angry handwriting. Inside the envelope was a handwritten note. It read, "Lucy, this is the path you chose. Let it be a reminder of what you've done. You destroyed everything, and now you'll face the consequences. You can't run from this. Not from me, and not from the truth." Lucy's hands shook as she read the words. Her face drained of color, and the enormity of Larry's actions began to sink in. The man she had once shared a life with, the man who had loved her, had made it his mission to ensure she would never escape accountability for her betrayal. Worse still, he had made certain that the world around her would know the truth. Later that same day, Larry set his final plan into motion. He reached out to the media outlet where Lucy had once dreamed of making her mark as a journalist. With her scandalous affair still raw, Larry used his connections to leak the story. Within hours, Lucy's name and face were plastered across headlines. There was nowhere for her to hide. The fallout was swift and catastrophic. Lucy's already fragile reputation was obliterated. The public, once captivated by her wit and charm, now regarded her with scorn. Friends who felt betrayed by her actions severed ties. Joshua, the man for whom she had risked everything, had long since disappeared, leaving her to face the consequences alone. Her life was in shambles, and the damage was beyond repair. For Larry, her downfall brought no satisfaction. Revenge had not been his goal. His actions weren't about finding joy in her suffering, but about reclaiming what she had taken from him, his self-respect and his future. Their marriage was over, but he had finally freed himself from the wreckage. In the weeks following the divorce, Larry began to rebuild his life. Without Lucy's shadow looming over him, he found a sense of calm returning. Claire, a colleague who had been a source of support during the chaos, became a steady presence in his life. Their friendship grew stronger, evolving into a relationship. Claire had stood by him at his lowest, and together they began to craft a new chapter. One evening, as they relaxed on the porch of Larry's newly purchased home, watching the sun set, Claire broke the silence. "Do you ever think about her?" she asked softly, her voice tinged with curiosity. Larry considered the question, his gaze lingering on the horizon. "Not anymore," he replied, his tone steady and assured. "She's a part of my past that's already closed." Claire smiled and gently took his hand in hers. Together they watched the last rays of sunlight disappear, marking the end of one story and the beginning of another. Years passed, and life continued to move forward. Larry and Claire built a life free from the shadow of Lucy's betrayal. Meanwhile, Lucy struggled to piece her life back together. Every attempt to revive her career faltered, her reputation irrevocably damaged. Larry's triumph lay not in her misery, but in his own renewal. He had risen above the turmoil and reclaimed his dignity, his peace, and ultimately, his future. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.